Hello everyone, welcome to Clashing Coder. So in this video we will see the question that is 334, increasing triplet subsequence. So it is a medium level question and it has also been asked in various interviews for Facebook, Google and Amazon. So it is like popular question. So let's see the problem statement. So given an unsorted array, so that means it is related to array, unsorted array, return whether an increasing subsequence of length 3 exists or not in the array. So actually the subsequence is if we see this example, so subsequence can be like 5 3 2. So the relative positions for the element should be same, but they shouldn't be like it is not compulsory that they should be continuous. So you can see 5 and we can skip the 4 and there can be subsequence like 5 3 2 or 5 3 1. So that is what subsequence means, and substring is like the element should be continuous, so that will be like 5 4 3, and we cannot skip any other element in between, like we cannot do like 5 3 2. It should be like 5 4 3 2. So that is what a subsequence means and substring means. So let's see. So note, your algorithm should run in O of n time, that is linear time and constant space, using the constant space. So this is what we need to do, and this is the example that we are given. So let's see, I will explain you. So first of all, you can see this example. So what approach comes to your mind? Let me explain you this also. So actually this is what we have to do. So if you see in this example, so we have to find, if we are given so we have to find 3 elements which are smaller than each other. The first element should be smaller than the second and third, and second element should be smaller than the third. So we have to find elements, like you can see in this array it will be like 1 and 2 and 4. You can see the index of 1 will be 0, and for the index of 2 will be, you can see 0 1 2, and for 4 it will be 3. So you can see indices are also less than each other. So yeah, this condition is true. I is less than j is less than k, and the elements of those indices, that is 1 2 and 4, you can see are less than. You can see this is condition that we need to satisfy. The element should be like this, and this indices should be like this, and they should be between 0 to n minus 1. So that is what we have to do. These are the constraints for this problem. So let's see what can be the basic solution or the naive solution that we can think of. So if you see, as we have to find the 3 elements, only the 3 elements, and we have to return true or false accordingly, as it is written in this also, return true if there exist I, j and k, such I, j and k, otherwise we will return false. So in this example that we are given, you can see these are the indices and this is the elements of the array. So the basic approach for like solving this question using the naive approach will be running simply the 3 loops. So what will be the 3 loops? 3 loops will be actually checking for the 3 elements or the 3 elements which satisfies the conditions that we need to get it true. So let's see. So you can see if I will run from 0 to n minus 1, and why this n minus 1? What will be I? So I will be actually for selecting the first element. I will be selecting the first element. I will run from this, and why it will run till n minus 3? So what will be n? N will be 5. You can see 5 minus 3. So it will be 2. It will be running till this point only, because we have to select I is the first element. So we have to select 2 elements after I, which are whose indices are greater than I and satisfies the condition. So I should stop here. If I comes here, you can see where will the k go? So k will not have any. Third element will not have any like element left. So that's why I will run till n minus 3, and j will run from I plus 1 to n minus 2. And why is that so? Because j cannot be the same index at the same index or at the same element where I is at. So j should be at the next element, because the index of j should be greater than I. So to satisfy the condition that I should be less than j and j should be less than k, each loop will be starting from the plus 1. You can see now k loop will start from k plus k is equal to j plus 1. You can see j plus 1, because the indices cannot be equal. This is the condition that we have to satisfy. I is less than j and j is less than k, and k will run till n, because k can be the last element. You can see now 3 elements we are getting, and now for every like iteration of this loop we will check if array of I is less than array of j is less than array of k. That means that we have found the elements or the pair or the subsequence that satisfies the condition that we are given. So we will simply return 2. Otherwise, if this loop ends and all the iterations are checked, all the elements are checked, then we will simply return false. That means we have not found any element or any subsequence which satisfies the condition that we are given in the question. So we will return false. And the time complexity for this particular solution will be O of n cube. And now if you give this answer in the interview, so it is a good start actually, and the space will be O of 1. But the interviewer will ask you to optimize this further, because he expects you to solve this question in less time. So that is why now you need to optimize this n cube. And in the question also it is written that you need to your algorithm should run only in the linear time complexity, and the space should be O of 1. So the space is actually O of 1, but we have to optimize our time complexity. So let's see some observations in this example. So this is the example. Okay, so here answer is true. because you can see it forms like some subsequences which satisfy the condition. You can see 1, 2 and 4, they satisfy the condition. 1 is less than 2 and 2 is less than 4, and the indices are also less than each other. Now you can see this 2, 4 and 5, this also satisfies the subsequence, and this 4, 5, 6, 7 and 4, 5, this 6 also satisfies the condition. So that means the answer should be true for this particular. So now what we will do is we will simply maintain two variables. So you can say x and y, and what we will do, we will initialize them with, first of all we will initialize them with infinity, or you can say int max. We'll initialize them with int max. Okay, so now we will iterate over this array. So we will iterate over this array. So I will be here. So now we will check if this x this array element, that is this 1, is less than x. So x is in int max and before, so it is true. This element is less than x, so we will set the x to 1. Now we will check for if, else if this y is less than this element is less than y, so it will not run, because if else other condition will be if these both conditions are false. So now I will come at this point, so it will come at this point, so 3. So what we have to do is actually we will now 3 is not less than this x, but it is less than y. Y is still int max, so if this is true, it will update this x if this element is less than x, but it is not true. That means this can be true, that y is less than this element is less than y. So yes, it is true, y is int max, so it will set it to 3. Now again we will iterate to the next iteration, and it will come here. So now if you see, this 2 is not less than this x, but it is less than this y, so it will run this condition will run, and it will set it to 2. Now again it will run, come to this point, and this 4. So if you check, 4 is not less than x and 4 is not less than y, so that means there is an element which is greater than both this x and y, and its index is also after this x and y. So x and values are, you can see, 1, 2 and the 4, and the current element that we are on, and it is greater than both of them. So actually at the first index we set the x, if the indices also are smaller, you can see this for index for this is 0, and for this it is 1, and for this it is, you can see, 3. So that means it satisfies the condition also. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, you can see it satisfies the condition also. That means the answer is true, so we will simply return true. So one condition will be if x is less than if x is greater than the current element, so we will update the x. Else if condition will be if y is greater than this element, so we will update y. Else they both are, if both are smaller than the element that we are on, so we will simply return true. So that answer will be true. So let's see the algorithm. So you can see I have written the algorithm over here. So this is what we have to do. So we have to initialize two variables for storing first and the second element. So you can see we have to initialize with int max, that is max positive infinity, and we have to iterate over the array at once, that is O of n time complexity for O of n time complexity, and our space will be remaining O of 1 because we are only using two variables. And as I told you, these are the conditions that we will be checking for. We will first of all, as our int, let me explain you again. So n will be first of all int max, okay, and n2 will be n2 will be also int of max. Now if you see, now we will iterate over the array. So I will be first coming over here, so let me erase this actually. So yeah, so you can see I will be over first index. I will be running to 0 to n minus 1, which will be 6, 7, minus 1. So you can see it will check if array of I is less than n. So yes, array of I is less than n1 because it is int max. So array of I is 1, so it will be 1. Now if it is true, so these conditions will be simply skipped, and I will come to the next element. It will iterate over next element. Now you can see it is 3, so now this condition will be false. Array of I, that is 3, is less than 1, that is not true. So that means we will check the another condition. Else if array of I is less than n2, so yes, n2 is int max, so it will be set to this 3. So you can see it will be set to 3, and this else condition will be skipped. Now our I will iterate over the next element. Now again it will check for this, it will be not true, but it will be true. You can see array of I, that is 2, is less than n2, that is 3, so it will be updated. Now this condition is skipped. Now again I will iterate. You can see I will iterate over this fourth, this third index, and element is 4. Now if you see, this condition will be not true. Array of I, that is 4, is not less than n, so this is not true. Else if array of I is not less than n2 also, 4 is not less than 2, so these conditions are both false. So that means what will be our final condition? So if you see, if we are having two elements, okay, we have got the first element and the second element. If they are not smaller than, they are not larger than the third element, so that means the third element satisfies the condition that we have to satisfy. So the condition is fulfilled, so we will simply return true. That means we have found the element. You can see, so now so you can see we are at fourth element, so third element, and the value is 4. So you can see n1 is less than n2, that is true, and they both are less than the element that we are on, which is 4th. So that means our condition is satisfied, so we will return 2. You can see we will return 2. Otherwise, if we, for example, if we have some array like let me change it here, let me add it here. So you can see if we have array like 1 4 5 like this, so that means there are no elements which are following the conditions of the increasing subsequence. All are in decreasing subsequence, so all the n's will be not updated. You can see if we keep updating the n1 and n2, the third element will be always smaller than the first two elements. You can see they're decreasing, so n1 is 3 and n2 is 2, so 1 will be smaller than these, so the condition will be not satisfied. So that means this loop will end. So this loop will end, and after that means we have not found the answer, so we will simply return false. So that means we don't have any pair for this example, you can see. So the base condition for this problem will be, you can see, if we get only 2 elements, you can say if we get only 2 elements, so there is no third element, so that means we cannot find the subsequence of length 3, so we will simply return false in this case. Or if it is less than 3, so we will return false. The size of array is less than 3, we will return false. So let's see the problem, this code for this solution, and I will also provide the code in the description. So you can see I have written the C++ code. So let's see. So you can see we have given the array, first of all, vector of int and numbers. So first we will save the size of the array, and then we will check for the base condition. If size of the array or this is less than 3, so that means we cannot find any subsequence of length 3, so we will return false. Then we will initialize 2 variables as int max. So you can see n1 is equal to int max and n2 is equal to int max. Then we will iterate over the array using this for loop. You can see for I this number, so I is an iterator, so it is actually the value. So I for this will be 1 2 3 4 5, so I will be actual element value in the array. So we will check for the 3 condition. As I told you, if I is less than n1, so we will update the n1. If I is less than n2, we will update the n2. Otherwise, that means these both conditions are not true or not satisfied. That means we have found the element which is greater than both numbers n1 and n2. n2 and n1 are our first and second number, so that means third number is greater than both, so we will return true. That means we have successfully found our subsequence in this array, so we will return true. Otherwise, if this for loop ends, and then we will return simply false because we have not found any element. So the time complexity, as I told you, will be O of n, because we are only traversing this array once, you can see, in this loop, and we are using only O of 1 space because we are using only 2 variables and we are returning simply true and false. So space and time complexity are achieved as told in the question. You can see your algorithm should run in O of n time and O of 1 space complexity. So let's submit the solution. So yeah, so I will provide the code in the description also, so you can see this solution ran faster than the 85.17% of solutions, and it took less memory than 100% of solutions. So this is really efficient approach or efficient solution. And if you tell this solution, this is not a like difficult solution, you can think of it in an interview. So if you tell this solution to the interviewer after approaching to the naive approach, then some other approach if you have, and the optimal approach, then he will be really impressed with your approach and he will surely pass you in the interview. So thank you for watching, guys. If you like this video, then do subscribe this channel and like this video and share this video. Thank you for watching, guys.